everybody in the media, are you trying to grab it?
Yes.
Marker. Oh, markers. Okay. Everyone in the media is going to get information from somebody who has money behind them. Okay? So you figure that the information that you're going to get in mainstream society is going to be supported with a huge amount of dollars on Capitol Hill. Okay? And unfortunately, the ones that are actually holding the dollars are going to be the lobbyists for the biggest corporations that are around. So the drug companies, the edible oil companies, the Kraft macaroni and cheese, Philip Morris, who's like in charge of cigarettes and like Kraft and a whole bunch of other things. They're the ones that actually are pulling the strings behind what we hear as healthy for you. And so there is a really great, and some of the books that I kind of passed around are actually based through Weston A. Price.
I just gave that website out today.
So WestonAPrice.org actually has a huge amount of information available, and the cool thing about them is they do not accept big business money. So they will not accept money for funding for their research by drug companies, by edible oil companies, by all of the, dairy industry, all of those guys, okay? So the reason why we like that is because then we actually get an unbiased view of our research. So Weston A. Price is actually, the background of him is he is a dentist. He was a dentist that wanted to prove that Western diet was the best for you, that indigenous cultures were going to have a worse time. They would have a unhealthy diet and they would have worse teeth. Well, lucky for us, he found out that was absolutely wrong. Okay, his thesis, his hypothesis was entirely opposite to what he actually found. He found that the indigenous cultures have the healthiest teeth. They do not brush their teeth. They do nothing to actually support their teeth like we do, brush, floss, pick, whatever else. They found that none of that actually happens with them. They just eat the right diet. And the minute you add some great additives called the standard adulterated diet, and these are bad hens. So now you're going to have the standard adulterated, there we go.
Look at that. She always gives bad luck with pens.
Oh, they just use them too much. Okay. We call these the SAD diet. So the standard adulterated diet is what they promote right now in mainstream. I'm going to eat healthy, therefore I'm going to have what? Well, I'm going to have a lot of wheat. Or I'm going to have low-fat dairy. Give me some other ideas. Low cholesterol food. There's going to be some additives there, and the biggest additive that we need to worry about is sugar. Okay? And they hide it. They hide it in lots of different names. And I know that you know some of this. Okay? I understand that you've seen high fructose corn syrup. You've seen, dextrose. I mean, there's so many ways to actually say sugar that it's crazy what they actually do. Okay? So the minute they add the sweet, the low-fat dairy, the low-cholesterol food, and sugar for our standard adulterated diet, they have one generation, and there's reproductive issues that happen. Okay, so let's just say that you and your spouse or a loved one have a little person, and you're on this standard adulterated diet. The little person has a greater chance of birth defects, has a greater chance of bone malformations, of heart problems, of autoimmune diseases than you did yourself. Because of just eating this diet, it takes one generation to change everything. Now,
does that go for reverse then too?
It can go to the reverse. Okay, absolutely. So what they're finding is Weston A. Price actually did these studies on indigenous cultures across the world and found that our diet in the civilized nations was awful for us, is really what they found out, okay? And so Weston A. Price actually went on a quest to make sure to find out what was the most nourishing foods. And one of the things that they've actually published is called the Nourishing Traditions Cookbook. Okay. Now the Nourishing Traditions Cookbook, as you can see, ours is very well loved, taped on the outside, has lots of stains on it. That's always the sign of a good cookbook, right? And what they do is they actually have recipes down the middle, and then they have interesting facts along the side from their research, okay? And then they have some things that are know your ingredients. So they will put all sorts of different foods in there, and they'll say, you know, these are all the things, so what is the food? And they're like hamburger helper, and Kraft macaroni and cheese, and a whole bunch of stuff that you go, bleh, I don't want that, okay? So I'm going to pass this one around, but, oh, see, this is a good one. I even have an additional recipe written on it. It's all like, this probably smells like tuna. That's the tuna salad page. So you're welcome to pass around the books that are there. But Weston A. Price, and I'm not getting paid by them, okay? It's just something about 12 years ago that we discovered. And the whole premise of them is going back to eating nutritionally and nourishing. And so what they do is they have a lot of soaking of any kind of grain that they do. And my family has actually progressed past the soaking of the grain because we have some allergies that we have to avoid, okay? But soaking grains or nuts or seeds, because every component of a plant that is going to grow has a protective enzyme on the outside of it, and you have to sprout it in order to get rid of what they call enzyme inhibitors. Well, we don't do that. If we're eating like a cake over here, got wheat, we just take whatever wheat berries there are, grind them up, and off we go, okay? If you soak the grain, then it gets rid of the outer coating that prevents it from sprouting at not the right conditions. Well, how do you sprout a seed or a nut or a grain? What do you need?
Water.
Okay, you need some moisture, okay? What else?
Sunlight.
You need some, you need some light or heat.
And soil.
Okay? Some kind of growing medium, okay, that's there. Moisture, heat, we need some time. Anything else? Moisture, heat, and time. Are we like sprouting our things that we actually take into our body? Most of the time, no. So what happens is our digestive system needs things that are almost pre-digested, okay? And when you take in pre-digested food, and I'm not saying have your mom chew your food for you and then give it to you, okay? I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that we can do a lot of different things to help us get rid of the things that are going to make us unhealthy. And so we have some warmth, we have some moisture, we have a little bit of time, okay? All of those things are going to help us sprout the grain, the nut, or the seed, so we get rid of the enzyme inhibitors, and this allows us to have more nutrients. Okay? The Nourishing Traditions Cookbook also goes back to eating that stuff called meat. You know that stuff called meat? Yeah, where they keep going, oh, vegetarian, we need to go all vegetarian. I'm sorry, okay? Vegetarians have this tendency to become very up in the air in their thinking because they don't have anything to ground themselves. And so I find that free range, allow to, pasture grazed kind of meat animals are the best. So meat. And we're talking nitrite, nitrate-free, and we're talking free-range animals, okay? Not ones that are in cages that have their beaks cut off and they're like layered one on top of the other and never have a chance to go away, okay? We want meat, we want eggs that are healthy, because if you don't want to eat bugs, which is what they found in every single indigenous culture, then you might want to eat the chickens that eat the bugs, okay? So that's the way I get around eating cicadas and grasshoppers and stuff, because I'm not real fond of those. I'd much rather eat the chicken that has eaten those things and made sure that, you know, they're treated correctly. He has an opinion.
Yeah. He agrees. He
Okay.
likes chicken.
Exactly. Before you figure out, or before you say, well, I'm going to have to pay an arm and a leg for this, okay? Know that nitrate-free food is available at Trader Joe's, okay? So I'm not talking, I want you to like go to the ends of the earth and find some of these foods. Woodman's has them, okay? So there's a lot of things that are available. You just have to look for them. Okay?
That's
Hello.
Judy, that's my dad and Teresa.
Hi, Dad. I'm Judy.
So Weston A. Price talks about soaking different things. They talk about eating meats or proteins that are good sources of them. And they also talk about this concept of good fats. Now, most of the students that are in here were okay to this point. Okay? But then I started talking about good fats and they all had their mouths hanging open. Because what are good fats? No student gets the answer. What are good fats? Name something.
Avocado.
Ooh, yes. Yummy.
Are you saying chewies?
Foods
That have good fats?
that have good
Coconut
fats.
Uncured bacon.
Okay, bacon.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Told you, mind blown.
Just wait.
Just wait.
What else?
Coconut oil.
Coconut oil. Are you a student?
No.
You are.
You like sour
Yes,
cream
I
and butter.
Hey,
right?
coconut
It's a
oil.
good fat.
Do you have anything?
No.
Fish.
Fish? What kind of fish?
Well, that's a good question.
Tuna. Salmon. You just said
Salmon is the best source. Absolutely. The fattier, the better. How about that one that they've been demonizing forever? Egg yolks.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Everyone is like,
You know, I wanted, there was somebody yesterday that I was just like, you just, sometimes I just can't say, because I know that they're not
ready for it.
ready. Because they said, oh yeah, I'm like changing my husband's diet. Got him on egg whites and like low fat. I'm like, okay, don't say anything, don't say anything. Egg yolks are the most nutritionally packed food that we can put in there because it's full of cholesterol. We must have cholesterol. And I'm going to write that down and we'll get back to what cholesterol is in a minute. Okay, what else? I've got some good ones.
Nuts.
Okay, what kind of nuts?
Walnuts.
Okay, walnuts do have some. The best oil-based nut is the macadamia nut.
Oh, I love macadamia nuts.
Okay, so macadamia. Okay,
Do all nuts fit into there or just?
They do.
Or just
yeah,
one?
macadamia nuts are the most packed with oil. Absolutely.
How about a cashew? I've heard those aren't particularly good.
Unfortunately, the way that they actually start the process of extracting the cashew, they've done a whole bunch of stuff to make sure that it comes out of its casing, and it's not the best nut for you. The way that the Weston A. Price Foundation actually does it is you soak the nuts, and cashews have a time limitation of soaking. Like every nut you can throw in water with a little salt, because all of them need a little acidity as well. the one I forgot. Okay. And so you put it salt, water, you soak your nuts. Cashews, you soak them more than 5 hours and they get mucilaginous, so they're all mucousy. Because they've done several different chemical processes to get those to you. So they're okay. They taste good. They're nice and sweet, but they're not the best nut for you. We're missing some really good ones. How about lard?
Well, what is lard? I don't even know.
Lard is pig fat.
Pig fat, okay.
Yeah. How about tallow? Tallow is beef fat.
Never heard that one.
Oh yeah, they used to actually cook the in tallow. They would cook the McDonald's French fries until like I don't know, 20 years ago. They cooked them in tallow. They were excellent for you. The minute they changed the vegetable oil, no, not so good.
Aren't they making broths now that are really healthy? Like calling them bone soup.
Bone soup is good. Yes. Any others that we missed? Students, you can chime in.
Olive oil.
What's my favorite? It's not up here
I
yet.
already put coconut oil on there.
No. You gotta
Oh,
cook all the
butter.
eggs and butter. Yeah.
You like butter too?
No. Butter's amazing. It actually is one of the main nourishers for the nervous system.
That may want some.
Ooh, sour
And-
cream.
How about some cream?
Sure. You just basically put my whole mom's diet on the board. Minus the macadamia nut.
Oh, they're yummy. But you can have your walnuts, really. It's all right. Okay? So good fats are these. What are not good fats?
Hydrogenated vegetable.
Okay, hydrogenated stuff. Did you know that you can heat a monounsaturated oil like olive oil, like nut oil, like avocado oil, sesame oil, and it will become hydrogenated? Did you know that?
If you heat it?
Wait,
If you heat it. So those monounsaturated oils are good, consumed cooler,
Until they're heated.
so you shouldn't
until
cook
they're
it.
heated, and then they change into a hydrogenated fat.
So cooking with
Really?
butter or coconut oil?
Butter, coconut oil, these are saturated. Saturated fats won't
Yeah,
count.
if you cook it, it gets rancid.
Yeah.
Right? Olive oil?
So these are all
Maybe I just
saturated
put a little
fats.
butter. Checking.
So here I thought I was doing good by switching to olive oil and cooking with olive oil, but really
Coconut
that's...
oil is the better one.
Yeah, I make eggs with olive oil.
I do too.
Don't do that, is what she's
The
saying.
Dang
sat-
it.
the
Butter
saturated,
now, use butter.
Guess so.
But she's gonna tell you why, and then your mind will really be blown.
yeah. So saturated fats are truly what you're looking for, and I know that I'm like surprised that you know, I always feel like I'm part of the black market when I do this stuff, you know, because we drink something called raw milk. You know, it's illegal to drink that in Wisconsin, and it has a huge amount of cream in it. And the cream and the butter and all of that have cholesterol in them. That's good. That's not bad. So hydrogenated fats, bad. Don't want them. Heating olive oil, heating all of the other kind of unsteady oils like peanut oil or avocado oil or sesame oil. Those are not good to heat. And they always get those big woks and they throw sesame oil in it and they, you know, really high temperature, it has to smoke and no, coconut oil is much better. What else? What do they sell on the grocery store shelves?
Vegetable oil.
Okay, vegetable oil, canola oil.
Crisco.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Okay,
Margarine.
margarine.
What exactly is margarine?
It's almost plastic. It's one molecule different than plastic. Yeah. Okay. Crisco is what? It's vegetable shortening. Okay. Vegetable, canola, Crisco, margarine. They have sunflower, safflower that kind of sit on the border. Okay, those are more polyunsaturates. Any kind of hydrogenated fat is bad for you. Okay, because really what's happening here is it's going to end up doing bad stuff in your body. Okay. Vegetable oil and canola oil. Well, vegetable oil and canola oil look beautiful on the shelf, don't they? It's nice, clear oil. Must be yummy to use. Yeah, that clear product was gray or brown at one point. What they have done is they've taken the vegetables, they've heated them to very high temperatures, they've extracted the oils out of it, and then they get this really disgusting looking product that they have to bleach twice before it gets to you. And they have to deodorize it because it smells awful. But they're a beautiful looking oil on the shelf, but these are all, we avoid these. No, don't want. At all. And I think my mom has finally thrown away the last margarine. She's like, but the tubs are so nice. Great, Mom. Don't eat the tubs. Get rid of the margarine. So every time I go in her freezer, I throw them away. Go ahead.
We buy butter.
Okay, good.
Okay, but some has with canola oil,
No.
and other has with olive oil.
That's not
No.
butter.
Butter.
Just butter.
Just get butter. Okay? Yeah, you don't. Olive oil again. You don't want to heat olive oil. It is a good fat, but it's a monounsaturated fat that can morph into something you don't want when you heat it. So we use olive oil and balsamic vinegar on our salads.
What if okay, how about on my toast?
On your toast, put butter on them.
Well, butter with olive oil.
Yeah, it was heated.
Okay. It's,
Do you like the butter nice and melted?
depends on what I put it on.
Just get butter.
Okay,
Yeah, easy. You don't have to worry about it.
okay.
Okay? So, Weston A. Price is kind of this three-prong approach. So we're going to have nourishing fats, okay, which is a total foreign concept right now. Absolute foreign concept. Yeah, that's going to go well on the recording. Clunk.
And I've dropped your face like 4 times. This is
Okay, soaking the grains, the nuts, the seeds, and then taking in protein sources that are free-range, pasture-raised, non-nitrites, non-nitrates, okay? And why they've gotten back to these is because of the research. Now, we need to talk a little bit, I'm sorry, you're going to get a 30-second crash course here in all of the class I teach.
Oh my
Okay.
God, you're gonna blow my mind right now. I'm so excited.
So what happens here?
I'm kidding. I want to see how she's gonna put all what we've learned into a crash course.
Okay, crash course. We need to start with cholesterol, okay? Now, we need to start with what is your concept of cholesterol? So what's your concept of cholesterol?
It's a chain of molecules that like to link together and block stuff.
Okay, so we're going to have some blocking that happens. Some are like arteriosclerosis, right?
Yeah. Black.
Uh-huh, yep. There's the word for it. Okay. What about you? What do you know about cholesterol?
I know there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol.
Okay, good and bad.
I mean, the body needs it.
Okay. What do you know?
Don't our brains need it?
Ooh, she's progressive. I like it. Okay, yes, brain. We're just going to put brain over here. Okay, what do you know about cholesterol?
Buy stuff that's low in cholesterol.
Okay, buy low cholesterol foods. Okay,
Not that I listen to that, mind
Yeah.
you.
I'm glad to hear that. Do you have butter
Huh?
too? Do you eat butter?
Oh, yeah.
I love it. We're all in the secret club.
The
Okay,
secret butter club?
that's right. Okay, anything else? Do you have anything else?
Like,
No, I don't.
Okay.
What did you say? She asked me a question, so no.
So let's talk about cholesterol and what it is. Okay, so here's the crash course in anatomy, physiology, and pathology. I have a cell inside my body, and outside of every cell, I actually have what's called a phospholipid bilayer. Phospholipid bilayer. Okay? This phospholipid bilayer is composed of cholesterol. Okay? Bilayer means I have two sides to it. Okay, so there's all these heads and these tails, and the tails meet one another. Okay, surrounds the entire cell. How many cells do we have in the human body?
7.9 billion.
Okay, billions. Every single cell needs cholesterol. Wait a minute. 7.9 billion cells. And each one needs cholesterol. Why would I ever reduce cholesterol?
Because they thought it was clogging the arteries.
Right. They thought. Who are they?
American Medical
The researchers.
Which research?
They're funded by,
Right. Who did they get the money to figure out that cholesterol leads to heart disease? If you trace it back, it's all the edible oil companies, the drug companies, the big business companies that are actually saying this. Okay? So 7.9 billion cells, each one of them need cholesterol. Okay, but that's not all. Every hormone, students, how many hormones do we have?
oh my God.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Hormone needs cholesterol. Ladies, you know that up and down thing we do monthly? Yeah. Every single one of those needs cholesterol. Gentlemen, did you know that you have hormones? They need cholesterol. Testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, they're all run off of cholesterol. What else? Every neuron, that's the brain, has to be coated in myelin. And myelin is made of
Cholesterol.
cholesterol. In the respiratory system, we have something that helps us inflate our lungs and deflate our lungs. It's called surfactant. Surfactant is made from? Yes. Okay, so every cell needs it, every hormone needs it, every neurotransmitter needs it. So not only do we coat our neurons, but we have every neurotransmitter. That means all the communication between one brain cell and the next brain cell has to have cholesterol. Surfactant is in the respiratory system. It helps us breathe. Go ahead.
What's this surfactant? Could you repeat that?
Surfactant
Oh, surfactant.
it helps us inflate and deflate our lungs.
Okay.
So
It's
when,
kind of like the powder inside the balloon. It helps us like blow on a balloon and actually inflate it. That's what surfactant is.
so when babies are premature, they don't have enough of that. Does
Correct.
that mean they don't have enough cholesterol?
Yes. Because the whole apparatus hasn't matured enough to actually be able to utilize it well. Okay. Growing new bodies, they need huge amounts of cholesterol. So why would I take a drug that's going to block cholesterol except for the reason of this right here? This is where they get you, isn't it? I take low cholesterol stuff because I don't want plaque. So the research on plaque is very interesting. What they have determined is inside a plaque, it is hydrolyzed cholesterol. Hydrolyzed. How do I get hydrolyzed cholesterol?
And those oils.
Okay, by bad oils. At one time when this whole, like, eat low cholesterol, low fat foods, the whole thing, they had pediatricians and doctors that actually prescribed drinking a cup of vegetable oil a day. That just makes me like gag. Okay? So here we have bad oils. These are the oils that are actually found in the plaque. It is not the good